Well, thank you, Justina. Thank you, WVU OLLI. We really appreciate your time today. Sorry I couldn't be there in person, dealing with a few little personal things over here, but all is well. I'm hoping to be in Hawaii this time next week, so I think that would make me feel a lot better, that's for sure. But yeah, thank you once again for choosing Collette to be your tour operator of choice for your WVU OLLI or OSHA program. So we truly appreciate the support over here. For those of you who have never met, myself, my name is Matthew Durema, and I've been proudly representing Collette for the past 16 years. I'm born and raised here in Western Pennsylvania. I live out by the Pittsburgh airport. I cover all of Western and Central Pennsylvania, parts of West Virginia for Collette. And, father of two little boys, Mateo and Rocco, husband of my beautiful wife, Ashley, of 11 years. And I absolutely love what I do. I had an opportunity in these 16 years to travel the world to see amazing sites, dive into the culture, heritage, and the wonderful architecture, and the delicious food, and the spirits of the region. It just, I think travel is something that, really, makes your heart grow a little bigger and mind grow a little larger as well. And Collette is a company that can take you all over the world. For those of you who are not familiar with who Collette is, we're the oldest tour operator in North America. We're one of the largest tour operators in North America. We were founded in 1918, so we're a 106-year-old company. It's family owned. We're based out of Rhode Island. We have corporate offices across the globe in London, England, Toronto, Canada, Vancouver, Canada, and Sydney, Australia. So we are a global tour operator. We offer around 182 tours globally on all 7 continents and over 60 different countries. So we have a huge footprint out there of different tours. We also have different travel styles, and I always like to make that clear. All of the tours that we're choosing today that we are going to be releasing for the 24-25 season are classic tours. Classic tours are what you would normally think of as a large motor coach tour. Those big luxury coaches with comfortable seats and big windows, lavatories. That is what we call classic tour. Now, those classic tours used to travel with around 54 travelers. And then it went down to 52, and then 50, and then 48, 46. But we found our comfortability of both profit and client satisfaction at 44 travelers. So our big bus trips, we want to immerse you in the culture. We want to show you all the wows of the region and balance out free time with included activity. If we keep you too busy for the entirety of the tour, you'll come back and you'll say, Jacina, I needed a vacation from my vacation. And if we don't have enough included, you wonder what the heck do we pay for? So we do a very good job of balancing out the must-sees, the immersions into the culture, the wows of the region, at the same time giving you time to spread your wings a little bit. So that is our classic brand, up to 44 travelers. We also have small group tours. And any of these small group tours, if you're interested in booking them, you can always reach out to Jacina. If there's something that doesn't interest you with the group tours, and a little proceeds will go back to the West Virginia OSHA program. But the small group tours are no more than 24 travelers. They're a little bit more boutique in nature, a little more off the beaten path, uneven terrain, travel styles over here. You can stay in, little smaller hotels. You can eat at different restaurants. It's more of a cultural immersion than our classic brand, but they do tend to be a little bit higher in cost because of the exclusivity. We have what we call our spotlight tours. Our spotlight tours, which we're presenting on one today, are single hotel stays. They're still a classic tour up to 44 travelers, but it is a single hotel. So you're not packing and unpacking. And today we're going to be featuring the spotlight on Tuscany, which was my very first trip back in December of 2008. We have some cruising. We're going to speak of one of our cruises today, our Alaska Discovery Landing Cruise with a partnership with Holland America. But we have a ton of product globally, worldwide, and I'm going to let you hear from our product managers and designers.
I live in Australia and I design our tours. I live in Italy.
I live in Croatia.
Portugal. I live in the United States. In Japan.
Portugal and Spain, and I design.
And I design.
And I design.
And I design our tours.
Our tours are created for travelers, by travelers.
There's no middleman between our brand promise and our travelers' experience.
Travelers get access to the real local culture. They'll see how people eat and live.
And how they do business in the countries that we visit.
We're curious about culture.
And we know that you are too.
It's Tuesday, it must be Belgium, is our guide on what not to do. Every day is new and different.
You'll eat in local restaurants and in locals' homes. You'll take cooking classes and do dine-arounds and join a walking food tour to explore a city.
Of course, you can also explore a city by dog sled.
Or tuk-tuk.
Trolleys, safari jeeps, public transportation, and even a vintage car.
And you'll overnight in igloos and in tree houses.
And in castles, chateaux, and Italian villas.
You get the point.
And speaking of where you'll overnight, we have the fewest one-night stays.
Because when you go on a trip that you've been dreaming about, you shouldn't feel rushed.
I hate feeling rushed.
Your time is best spent in the destination, not driving between them.
We design tours to spend the fewest hours on the coach as possible.
And your tour is more inclusive. You'll get the must-sees and local experiences, not one or the other.
Because we get it.
We get it. We are travelers.
We are travelers.
We are travelers too.
The reason I share that video with our clients is for the fact that, we don't buy these tours off of other companies. So many of our competitors in the guided industry will work with local companies and they purchase the tours off of people local to the region. And then they mark them up and maybe tweak them a little bit. But we actually have people on the ground that are sleeping in hotels, eating at the restaurants, timing the tours out specifically for our guests in mind. And once our designers design those, who have a very creative mindset, our contractors go in and negotiate all of the rates. So just to give you an understanding of what our product philosophy is, we go out and design, build, and contract our own tours for our guests in mind. Now, what is included in a Collette tour? What type of quality are we? Well, we're not the Ritz, we're not the Four Seasons, but we're a solid 4.5 star tour operator with amazing accommodations. We don't always say they're centrally located. We say they are strategically located. The reason we mention that is because sometimes you're meant to be in Tuscany. If you're in Tuscany and you're out in the countryside, you may not be in the heart of Florence. But if your tour is set to stay in Florence, we are right in the heart of Florence, right in the heart of Venice, if that's what the tour is deeming. So we are a 4.5 star tour company. We have a lot of inclusions in our tours. We don't have a lot of options. A lot of our competitors will have a ton of optional tours, 50 to do this, 100 for that, 80 for this. We have a lot of inclusions at the same time getting you some free time to go and spread your wings. We're going to handle your hotel to hotel baggage handling. Once you arrive in destination, that's really the last time that you're responsible to port your own luggage. We're going to immerse you into that culture. Like I've mentioned, we have local guides who will step onto your buses to give you a little bit more of a local flair. You'll have a tour manager with you every step of the way. He or she is well educated, they're well trained, they know the regions like the back of their hand, and they're your travel confidant throughout the entire tour. They're there to steer you in the right direction during your free time. Hey, by the way, you can go down the street. There's this little museum that we don't have time to do on our tour, but during your free time, you may want to check this out. There's a great little cafe famous for this. There's this cool little art studio that if you want to go buy some, famous art, they're really well knowledgeable of the region. Also, we're going to pick you up in either Morgantown or Charleston and take you to the airport. We're going to pick you up and bring you back. We have 2 pickup locations. It all depends on which way you are looking to travel. So we're going to pick you up, bring you back to the airport, even if you decide to go in early, because we offer pre-nights, we offer post-nights, pre-tour extensions, post-tour extensions. So even though this is a trip with your West Virginia OLLI, you can make it your own tour. And it's nice to just start that tour off, right from your home footprint thing. I'm going to play one little short video and start telling you about some of these tours.
Morning, kids. Mom and Dad here, having our first cup of coffee here in Florence, Italy. That's right, your inheritance in our cup, and we're drinking it one cup at a time all over the place. We managed to do it from a long ways away this time, in Florence,
Italy.
Italy. Here's to you, kids. We love you.
Love ya.
I always get such a kick out of that video. I always tell the story about my father telling my brothers and I, hey kids, our last check is going to bounce. That kind of reminds me of Steve and Joyce over there who kind of throw it in the kid's face. But seriously, time is an infinite. You have the opportunity to do these wonderful trips, do them while you can, especially if you're heading to Europe, because there's a lot of uneven cobblestone streets, uneven terrain. You're going to need to be on your feet for an hour or two at a time, traversing some of that. So you need to be active. You don't need to run marathons to do these tours, but you will need to be able to get up, get onto an airplane, maybe cover a few steps, walk around a, city for an hour or two. But if there's things you can't do, just communicate that with the tour manager. But please keep in mind the activity level of each and every one of these tours. This is our tour series. This is what Jacina and I put together with the help of some committee members. We are going to be going to France in October of 2024. The reason we are choosing this region is it's the 80th anniversary of D-Day this year. There's going to be a lot of celebrations, especially when you're up into the Normandy region, so to celebrate the landings in Normandy. Iceland's Northern Lights, one of our best-selling tours in the company. We operate this tour October through March because that's when the Northern Lights are most prevalent. And we're going to go the Hawaiian Adventure. This is the tour I'm doing next week, 3 islands. We're going to the Big Island of Kona, Oahu, and Maui. And it's going to be absolutely amazing in February. What a time of year to get out. It's not going to be overly hot in Hawaii, but plenty of sunshine and, low 80s, which is perfect touring weather. A single hotel spotlight tour in Tuscany. You have 7 nights in a small little resort town called Montecatini Terme. And it is just an amazing tour. Every day you hub and spoke out. We have our partnership with Holland America. It's a wonderful Alaskan cruise doing 4 nights land and then 7 nights on the Inside Passage, a southbound cruise. That's how you want to do Alaska. If you're going, you want to do your land first, you want to go southbound afterwards, and you want to stay in the Inside Passage. That's what Holland America lets us do with those smaller ships. And then later on this year, we're going to be releasing Imperial Cities for October of 2025. So stay tuned. The Imperial Cities is 3 nights Prague, 3 nights Budapest, 3 nights Vienna, a wonderfully paced tour in the central Europe. So the tour that we're going to start out first is our France Magnifique. It is October 3rd through the 14th. Perfect time of year. Weather's starting to get a little bit more temperate. The crowds are diminishing a little bit in the early part of October. So this is a great time of year to travel. This tour is 12 days. It's 16 meals. You're going to have breakfast daily, 1 lunch, and 5 dinners. The overall activity level on this tour is a level 3. But like I mentioned before, it means that you can, walk for longer periods of time, 1 to 2 hours, navigate different terrain, maybe some hills, uneven cobblestone streets. Just kind of give you an understanding. This is your itinerary at a glance. You're flying in and out of Paris. Makes the flight a little bit easier when you do round trip same city. And from Paris, we're going to be making our way to that beautiful palace of Versailles. We're not staying in Versailles. We're going to be visiting the town of Versailles, but we will be touring that beautiful palace of King Ludwig, So we're going to then be making our way to Giverny. This is a very famous spot for some of the most amazing artists in the world. We're going to be making our way up into Cannes. The Cannes is the gateway to the Normandy region. We're going to spend an entire day touring the beaches. We're going to make our way to Le Mont-Saint-Michel and St. Malo for a 2-night stay up on the coastline. We're going to come back and we're going to visit this beautiful Chateau Chillon and stay in the Loire Valley and the chateau ourselves. And then we're going to be making our way back to Paris. So this is our tour. It's going to start out flying into Paris, starting our tour in Versailles, and then ending in Paris. So day number 1 is an overnight flight. You will arrive into Paris typically early morning, where you'll board your transfer, which will then bring you to the borough of Versailles. And you have an opportunity to go out and explore independently while you wait for your fellow travelers to arrive. And we're going to get together and have a wonderful savory French dinner in the culinary town of Versailles. So we're going to have a wonderful welcome dinner, bring everyone together. We're going to tour the Palace of Versailles, King Louis XIV, the Sun King. They're transformed this amazing hunting lodge into this beautiful palace. You'll get an opportunity to explore both inside the palace as well as the gardens surrounding the Palace of Versailles, this beautiful Baroque architecture all throughout. From there, we're going to be making our way to Giverny, Monet's gardens, and we're going to have an opportunity to tour these beautiful gardens. I work with a lot of garden groups, and they absolutely love Giverny. You'll have an opportunity to learn a little bit more about the artist's inspiration in many of his paintings. Maybe you can even see some of that inspiration firsthand. The next day, we're going to be making our way. We're going to be touring the wonderful beaches of Normandy. This morning is going to be very humble. We're going to be making our way to Omaha Beach. This is the site where the largest invasion in history took place during World War II. D-Day, the originally called Operation Overlord, involved over 150,000 Allied troops, and it is believed that nearly 4 million landmines were placed in Normandy by the Nazis. So how the Allied troops got through these beaches is something that, is just an impossible feat. We'll start our morning off with a visit to the American Cemetery. I just did this about a year ago, and it just gives you goosebumps. It's very humbling, kind of peaceful. We try to get there first thing in the morning to beat the crowds and really give our appreciation and thanks to those who lost their lives 80 years ago. The cemetery is the resting grounds for nearly 10,000 fallen U.S. soldiers, and you'll have an opportunity to tour that amazing cemetery. We're going to visit our way to Pontohawk. This is where the 2nd Ranger Battalion scaled the 100-foot cliffs to seize the fortified enemy positions that are overlooking Omaha Beach. So we'll make our way to Pontohawk. We're going to make our way to Saint-Marie-Anglaise. This is an opportunity to go learn a little bit more about the Airborne Museum, which opened in 1962. And it really focused on the 82nd and 101st Airborne Division. If you ever watched that Band of Brothers, this is kind of what that was, made out of. So here you'll see the paratroopers stuck on the side of the church over there. You'll make your way to the D-Day landing sites of Juno Beach, which time you'll have an opportunity to see Mulberry Harbor. Mulberry Harbor is it's a man-made harbor, and that's how the Allied troops got all their armaments back onto the harbor. We'll make our way back to Caen. This is a wonderful museum, the Caen Peace Memorial. You'll have an opportunity to learn all about the planning, the strategic planning of Operation Overlord. You'll learn a lot about the French resistance here. So that is just a spectacular day. Then it's off to St. Malo. This is Brittany's. Brittany's the northern part of France, the famous coastal village, and taking the beautiful beaches, the striking blue water, all these beautiful views of the fortified old town. This town was founded in the 1st century BC, and due to its city's location right along the coast, it has a long history, including pirate invasions. The next day, I think it's a wow. Look at where all the cars and the people are right now, and this is the Le Mont Saint-Michel, which translates into St. Michael's Mount, resting on the border right between Normandy and Brittany. This world-famous pilgrimage site sits on the edge of the sea, and it becomes an island during high tide. So when you're there in low tide, you can go visit later on. It then becomes an island. It is breathtaking. It's such a wonderful little area to go out and visit. Later on, we're going to be making our way back to St. Malo and have some free time to relax, go out and explore independently. The next day, we're making our way to the Loire Valley. We're going to journey south through this beautiful hilltop region with, farmland galore. And it's, this is what you think of when you look at those old movies of World War II, how the hedges that were built for hundreds of years here in France kind of divide the property lines. It's a beautiful UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's brimming with chateaus and parks. It's just unbelievable. We're going to stop in the town of Chillon, which sits right on the Vimy River. and it holds the castle of King Henry II, which was King of England from the 12th century. This castle is absolutely gorgeous. It was passed down to Richard the Lionheart. All these names, dating back into history. It's fascinating. That's why I love guided touring. You throw your Whisper headsets in, you stroll around the streets, you learn all about these interesting facts, and then you go out and you grab a baguette and a hunk of cheese and a glass of wine, and now you are honorary Frenchman or French woman. We're going to be staying in the town of Chillon over here. It's absolutely famous for, where Joan of Arc first met young Charles the Seventh over here, and shared her vision that, he would defeat the English during the 100-Year War. Just gorgeous setting. We're going to make our way out through the wine region and discover some of those beautiful Loire Valley traditional wines. We're going to stay at Chateau des Vivants. This is the chateau. I stayed in the Queen's Tower. See where the little peak is, the spire. I don't, not really a spire, but the peak. I stayed in that room about a year ago. We had our welcome or our banquet, our awards banquet, tuxedos, right in this little galley. This is a centuries-old chateau. Keep in mind that you got to climb some steps to get to your room. Your luggage will be ported. It's just a wonderful evening. You get 2 nights in this wonderful French chateau. You'll remember it forever. We're going to visit an even more spectacular chateau, Chateau des Chillons. So this is a chateau that was built in the 16th century, and the grounds have been occupied by a few centuries before that. There's a moat surrounding the chateau. It's gorgeous. So you will get an opportunity to tour both inside and around the chateau. We'll make our way to the little town of Amboise. Have a setting, wonderful charcuterie with some French wine. There was a little wine cave that we did a little wine tastings here. Just some free time to break up the drive, go see another charming French town before we make our way into the French capital city of Paris. Paris is one of the world's most beautiful cities. It's the most romantic city, the city of the lights, the Eiffel Tower, the Arc de Triomphe, the Champs-Elysees. This is what you get when you travel to Paris. We're going to do a wonderful Seine River cruise and have an opportunity to see, all these wonderful sights from a different vantage point. There's an optional tour. I do always like to set the expectation. This is the Pierre de Latin, which is a cabaret. It is very risque. There's quite a bit of nudity, just to give you an understanding. I sat through it. It was very interesting. Wonderful dinner, wine included, and wonderful entertainment. The next day, we're going to give you some free time. There's a little choice. You can do a choice of a panoramic city tour around Paris, or you can do a tour via the metro. The metro is the way to go. It's the way to get around the city. It's so quick. You don't sit in traffic. That's why we give people a little choice, but it is a little bit more active. Later on, we're going to have some free time to go kind of write your own story here in this magical city. We're going to get together and celebrate a wonderful French cuisine exclusively at the Eiffel Tower. So we're going to be making our way up to the Eiffel Tower for these wonderful panoramic views and have a wonderful farewell dinner. It is a wonderful trip. It's 12 days, 10 nights, a lot of inclusions. If you want to find more information, I posted it in the chat box. You can go to this link. When you go to these links, they will take you to WVU OLLI's webpage. When you go to that webpage, you will find that this tour, land, air, taxes, fees, transfers from Morgantown to the Pittsburgh airport, pick up at the airport, come back home. It's $48.99 per person based on the double if you book before April 4th. If you book after April 4th, we can't guarantee the rate. So get that in. This tour is going up about $1,000 for next year. You're going to notice a lot of pricing increases from 25 to 26. As just like everything else, things are getting a little bit more expensive. When you are on that group webpage, keep in mind, it'll show you what to wear, what to bring, how to pack, the currency, all of the know before you goes. It'll have the full itinerary. And if you want a paper copy of the itinerary, please reach out to Jacina. She can share that with you. I'm going to stop here, just break for a second to answer any questions. I think I saw one come through. For the solo traveler, are there single rooms provided at all tour sites? Yes, that is correct. We do have a single rate. The single rate for this tour is about $1,200 higher. You don't have anyone sharing the cost of that room, so it is a little bit higher on the room side. It's $6,099 after your booking. So yes, we do offer a single rate, and it would be a single room throughout the duration of the tour. Now, keep in mind, if you have any friends or family that want to travel on any of these tours and they don't live in the Pittsburgh area or the West Virginia region, they can travel from wherever. They can travel from Florida, Texas, Tennessee, and they can just join you in destination. So, keep that in mind, spread the word. You'll find that you can see a little Twitter box and Facebook post. If you're deciding to go, say, hey, come join me. The more the merrier. So we have our space until April 4th. We guarantee these rates. And even though this isn't considered a World War II tour featuring the 80th anniversary, you're there during the 80th anniversary. And when you're up in the beaches, you will feel it. It is a wonderful destination. So I'll just pause here for anyone that's in person. I'm not sure if there are any in person. If there are any questions, Justina, that anyone may have? Usually no news is good news. So please, we'll keep it going over here. We have a lot to cover. The next thing, switching it up a little bit, same time of year, not too far from, our France trip, we're offering a wonderful tour to Iceland. I may send more people on this tour than any other tour in our company. And this is a wow value. And the reason why is there's probably no tour that is going up more in cost this year or for the following year than this particular tour. So this tour is coming in at $36.99 and their taxes and fees. Next year it's going to be $49.99. It's just everything is booming. Europe is at its peak travel capacity. Everyone is traveling, and this is an amazing destination. Here's the nuance to this destination. We are not flying out of Pittsburgh or Charleston on this tour. We're going to pick people up in Morgantown, and we are going to drive you to the Washington Dulles Airport. The reason we are doing that is we have a partnership with Iceland Air, and we take you to the Washington Dulles Airport. You will hop on an evening flight, which will be nonstop to Reykjavik, Iceland, which is about a 5.5-hour flight. So that is an amazing opportunity to not have a long flight to Europe, to have a direct nonstop and get you there early in the morning. The other nice wow of this tour is your hotel rooms will be ready upon arrival when you get into Iceland. So this tour is November 9th through the 15th. I mentioned it in our intro that the reason we do this tour, we do it through October through March, and that's because it's when the Northern Lights are most prevalent when you go to see them in Iceland. October through March, the closer you get to the solstice of winter, the more prevalent they are, as well as you need clear, dry skies. So we don't guarantee the Northern Lights. However, going this time of year, spending 5 nights there, your opportunity of seeing them is greatly increased. It's a quick trip. It's 7 days, 5 nights. If you want to go in early, stay later, you can. If you do go in early, keep in mind your rooms will not be ready upon arrival. It's the only tour in our company that on the base tour that when you arrive in Reykjavik, you will transfer to your first hotel. Your room will be ready. First thing in the morning, you can rest up. We're going to start our tour in the early part of the afternoon, and that early part of the afternoon will go into the evening hour because we will be doing some evening touring. So this is your itinerary to glance. I know Iceland's been in the news quite a bit for a lot of volcano eruptions and earthquakes. We have not canceled one tour to Iceland all through all of that. We just rerouted a couple groups. The thing that was most affected was the Blue Lagoon, which is this famous glacial lagoon or hot spring lagoon. And we just tweaked it. We are visiting the Sky Lagoon now. We don't know if the Blue Lagoon will be open later on in November. But we are kind of rolling with the punches over here because it's such a wonderful destination and people still wanted to go. And our survey still came back very positive. So day number one is your overnight flight to Reykjavik. We're going to be arriving into this cosmopolitan city early in the morning. It's the most northern city, capital city in the country, and it's about a third of the population here in Reykjavik lives, or in Iceland lives here in Reykjavik. It has a rich Viking heritage. It's just a wonderful city. It's very flat, so it's very pedestrian. We're going to have a wonderful city tour after you had an opportunity to rest that morning. We're going to go out and see the Hellstrimster Church, which is a famous focal point of the city. We're going to go out and see City Hall and the Parliament building. We're going to have a wonderful welcome dinner. But this tour is about the Northern Lights. We will then that evening hop on a ferry ride, take this ferry out into the harbor. We want to get away from that ambient lighting, hopefully get an opportunity to see the Northern Lights. The next day, we're going to go out, bags packed. We're now leaving for the next hotel, which will be a 3-night stay in this small little town, no more than 1,000 people in the town of Vik. It's in the south central part of the island. From here, we're going to be making our way to the Golden Circle Drive. It's one of many Iceland's world-renowned kind of natural wonders are on this Golden Circle Drive. Slavnadas Falls waterfall is absolutely amazing here. You can see in this photo, you can see the steps going up and behind the falls. You don't have to do that. This tour is a level 3. You can make it a level 4 if you wanted to go out and do some independent exploration, but you can also see the people witnessing the natural beauty from a distance. We're going to learn about geyser, which is the only word that translates from English to the Icelandic language. It's kind of like their version of Old Faithful. It goes off every 6 to 10 minutes, about 100 feet to 150 feet in the air. We're going to see some amazing waterfalls. This is Gullfoss Waterfalls. It's a double cascading waterfall with a 100-foot drop. And if it is a sunny day, you most definitely see rainbows kind of shooting over. We're going to visit Thingvellir National Park. This is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This is where Icelandic citizens gathered in the year 930 AD and established the world's first parliament. Also here in Thingvellir National Park is where North America and Europe meet. This is where the tectonic plates meet for Europe. In fact, there's places where you can go scuba diving, touch Europe and North America. You're going to learn all about that. In fact, if you're a geologist, chances are you've done a little studying here in West Virginia in Iceland. We're going to learn all about some of that geology at the Lava Expedition Center, learn about how they embraced the geothermal activity and embraced it and even kind of converted it into electricity and power and sell it back to mainland Europe. Once again, more stunning waterfalls along your journey, just beautiful scenery. You can do some short little hikes. The weather, no different than you would experience in Morgantown in November. Unpredictable. Weather maybe down into the 30s, high 20s. Could be windy, could be rainy, could be nice. You never know. This is Beach. This is where we're staying for the next 5 nights. We're going to tour this beautiful black sand beach called Rise Fjera. And you can see these beautiful basalt columns, which are almost kind of like mythical looking, like they're staged. You'll have an opportunity to walk along the beach, maybe see some wildlife and some marine life. Keep in mind, if you're going for the puffins, they're not here that time of year. They're more of a summer bird. But there is plenty of bird life and marine life this time of year. You can see a wonderful archway here called Dry. It's kind of a natural towering lava formation, which is a wonderful photo opportunity. You're going to learn about life growing up in Iceland in more primitive times at the Skogar Museum, which claims a collection of, Icelandic artifacts. You can see the thatched roof. They protect people in the wintertime and keep them cool in the summertime. So you can learn a little bit more about Icelandic culture. We'll visit, once again, some more amazing, scenery along the way. This is Skogas Falls. We're going to make our way to Yoko Larson Glacial Lagoon, so you can see these beautiful glaciers and icebergs kind of floating along. Every night of this tour, we're going to go out searching for the Northern Lights. And the tour manager may say, ladies and gentlemen, after dinner, we're going to hop on the bus and drive a half hour north. We think there's some clear passage because we want to give you that opportunity to see the Aurora Borealis. That's one of the reasons we stay in Veep, to get you off the motor coaches as well as give you an opportunity to see the lights, without that light pollution. We're going to make our way to Skeffel National Park. This is the largest national park in all of Europe, and it has that beautiful glacier coming down the mountainside. This is Yoko Larson Lagoon. In fact, this is some very fresh water. You can drop off a little piece of ice, bring it back to your hotel, make your favorite beverage with you. Maybe you'll get a chance to see some of this green light popping up on a little iceberg over here. But imagine sitting there looking at the glaciers, seeing the northern lights kind of appear in front of you. The next day, we're going to be making our way back to Reykjavik, so it's bags out. En route, we will visit a lagoon. It may not be the Blue Lagoon, it may be the Sky Lagoon, but nevertheless, the Icelandic people have been able to enhance and embrace this geological wonder of these natural hot springs, and they've been able to commercialize them a little bit. And you get a chance to just kick back, soak, and enjoy some free time in the wonderful lagoon before we make our way back to Reykjavik for a wonderful farewell dinner. Now, as I mentioned, this tour, you can find it. I put the links in the webpage. You can find this on the OSHA website as well. It's land, air, taxes, fees, transfers from Morgantown to Washington Dulles. We're not driving to Dulles from Charleston, only a hometown pickup from Morgantown. And we're going to have that nonstop flight from Dulles. And the price is $36.99 per person after a $250 off booking incentive. You have to book before May 10th in order to get that incentive. So I'm going to break here just for a second. The single rate, by the way, is $42.99. So I did see a few questions come through for this tour. If we're going a day early, do we need to get ourselves to the hotel and leave our luggage until we check in? So if you're planning on doing a pre-night on this tour, we would still be able to provide, if you're purchasing that pre-night off of Collette, you would still have airport to hotel transfers included in the tour. However, upon arrival at the hotel, you probably won't be able to check in until 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So what I always do is I stow my luggage, I grab, my carry-on bag, I go in the bathroom, I freshen up a little bit, and then I just go walk around the town, maybe grab a little breakfast and do a little meandering, head back to the hotel during check-in time. Keep in mind, it's free time for you. You're going on a free. But yeah, they can stow your luggage for you. But if you buy the free night and you buy the airfare off of Collette, we will still handle the airport to hotel transfers for you. Do you need any special clothing for Iceland? Good question, Denise. Sorry, I'm working on multiple screens over here. No different than if you were going to a Mountaineers game in the wintertime, warm, comfortable shoes or boots. We do recommend maybe Yak Tracks or those Grampians that you can find at Dick's Sporting Goods. They go over your boots to give you a little bit more traction. Maybe, some thermal wear. I wear Under Armour when I went to Finland and Iceland. A little thermal, long john type wear. Waterproof rain. Waterproof jacket. You're going to be getting up close to the waterfalls. It'll be a lot of mist. So yes, you're going to want to dress in layers, but keep in mind, bus is always there if you need to leave anything behind or go back and put something on. But it's always better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Any other questions about Iceland? Well, we're chugging along over it. We have a wonderful touring lineup. We have, a wonderful trip to France, heading up to see the Northern Lights in Iceland. And then the tour that I'm doing next week with my wife and no kids for my 15th anniversary year at Collette is our Hawaiian Adventure. It's a 3-night island hopping tour, or 3 island hopping tour, 10 days, 9 nights. It's February 9th through the 18th. Very temperate, high 70s, low 80s is a high. We have a lot of inclusions on this tour, at the same time giving you some time to kick back and relax. It's a level 1. You're in the United States. You don't need a passport for this trip. The other tours, you'll need a passport. You're going to make sure your passports are valid, 6 to 8 months beyond your return home date, but you do not need that for Hawaii. It is a little bit of a flight. You're looking, maybe routing from Pittsburgh to Chicago to Honolulu. It's about a 10, 11-hour flight if you're adding up all the flight time to get yourself to Honolulu. Your itinerary list is 3 nights on Honolulu, 3 nights in the Big Island of Kona, and you are going to be spending 3 nights on Maui. Hotel's a little south of China. We're staying in the Tanapali area. So we canceled 2 trips due to the wildfires, and then we went back to help support their economy and the rebuilding. So day number 1 is a flight. You probably won't arrive until the latter part of the afternoon on your arrival day. You will be greeted. We will put a lei on you. We will transfer you to your first hotel, which is a gorgeous setting at the Hyatt Waikiki Beach. Hyatt is not on the beach; it's on the harbor. Hyatt Waikiki, not on the beach. It's a harbor hotel, but you're a short walk to the beach, and so your adventure begins right here in the Hawaiian Islands in Honolulu. It's a surfer's paradise, 100 world-renowned beaches. It was granted statehood in 1959. The city saw a huge boom in residency and tourism. Today, nearly 2/3 of Hawaiian population lives here in Honolulu. It's a big city with beautiful beaches, great restaurants. It's around 2,500 miles from California. So as I mentioned, you'll be greeted with a floral lei, and you'll make your way to that Waikiki Beach Hotel. And we're going to just have a free day because we don't know what time people are getting in. You don't have a welcome dinner, beautiful restaurants around the hotel. You can go out and explore, come back, kick back, relax. The next morning, we're going to get up and we're going to remember Pearl Harbor as we embark on this amazing journey. We're going to visit the Pacific National Monument, take in all of the history. We're going to visit the USS Arizona Memorial, which honors those who lost their lives during the Pearl Harbor attack. We're going to learn a little bit about some of the royalty that was here in Honolulu and Hawaii by visiting some of the most iconic spots. One of them is the Iolani Palace, the last royal residence here in the United States. So it's the last monarch dating back to the late 19th century, and the only official royal residence in the U.S. So you're going to learn a little bit about the history and the culture of the Hawaiian people, the architecture. This is the Hawaiian State's Capitol building. We're going to make our way to the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific, also known as Punch Bowl. This is where, to commemorate the men and women who served in the U.S. Armed Forces. And then later that day, you're going to have some time at leisure to explore Oahu, one of the most sought-after travel destinations for anyone around the globe. Perhaps you'll dive into the deep-rooted history of the island and uncover some of these special treasures. Maybe you'll go for a hike up to Diamond Head. Maybe you'll go out into the city and do a little shopping and explore the downtown area. There's 100 miles of coastline here, so you can really make it your own. The next day, or that day, we're going to get together for a welcome dinner, by the way. The next day, we're going to be making our way to the palace and actually tour the palace, so you have an opportunity to learn about the monarchs and the takeover of Hawaii by the United States. And then there's some free time. And we have these beautiful hotels, beautiful pools, great locations. We don't want to keep you busy morning, noon, and night. So this tour is a nice balance of free time with included activity. So you'll have an opportunity to go and, go kick back and relax, grab that Mai Tai and sit out on the pool grounds. Later that evening, we're then going to be making our way to Nuapali Lookout, which offers these beautiful panoramic views of the cliffs, and you'll have an opportunity to take that all in. So, normally when people go to Hawaii, They'll buy a hotel, they may rent a car, they have to do all the driving themselves, and then they start buying excursions. This gives you a lot of all of that built into one package, and you don't have to lift a finger. So you will get an opportunity to just kind of kick back and relax with the joy of having some included activities. You're going to return to Waikiki later on that evening and late afternoon, witness one of those beautiful Hawaiian sunsets. The next day, we're packing our bags. We're now flying to the Big Island of Hawaii. True to its name, the island itself is larger than all of the other Hawaiian islands combined. And although the official name of the island is, Big Island, it's famous for its volcanoes and rocky black sand beaches. So we will fly in to the Big Island. And then we're going to be doing some touring because our hotel won't be ready. So we're going to pass by beautiful waterfalls. We're going to be making our way to the Hamakua coast and pause for this iridescent mist rainbow that kind of glides. The sun shining the right way. We see these rainbow falls. We're going to be making our way to see the lava caves. This is what the Big Island is all about. We're going to visit Hawaiian Volcanoes National Park and learn about the most active volcano. We're going to then settle into our hotel right along the black sand beaches of Kona. We are staying at the Outrigger Hotel, which is right along the coast. So this is a coastal hotel. It's not really a beach hotel. It's this ruggy lava rock all around. So we're going to settle in, but it's a beautiful property, great location, and you're going to learn all about the history of Kona. Later on that evening, we're going to get together at the resort and have a little lei making class, which will be taught by a local, learn about the cultural significance of the leis. We're going to head out, learn a little bit about the coffee harvesting. I never did this before in Hawaii because I've never been, but I did in Costa Rica. I absolutely loved my coffee plantation tour. It was just fascinating to see how these beans go from harvesting to roasting to grinding to your morning cup of joe. We're going to visit this cute little church called St. Benedict's Church. It was built in the 1800s and has all these vibrant little frescoes. We'll make our way out to the Punahou National Historical Park. It's this rugged coastline. It was once the place of refuge for those that broke the laws in old Hawaii. And it's just a fascinating little area, that rugged landscape. And then day number 7, we're going to board another inter-island flight. We're going to be making our way to the Valley Out of Maui, one of the most beautiful and popular islands anywhere in the entire world. It has been voted numerous times by Condé Nast, the most beautiful island in the world. Maui is not only home to 30 plus miles of beautiful beaches, but unique ones. Some have red sand, some have black, some have pure white. It's all across. So it's also home to OLLI, the largest dormant volcano in the world. We're going to visit the town of Collette, which will have some, time to explore, kick back, relax, have lunch on your own, stroll the beaches. We're going to visit that stunning valley called the Aiao Valley, translated into the Cloud Supreme in the Hawaiian language. Its valley is lush with rugged, breathtaking coastline. It reminds you of Jurassic Park over here. These 2,000 high foot, needles over here in Maui's natural landforms. Later this afternoon, we're going to travel through the amazing sugarcane fields, one of the main exports of Hawaii. And we're going to be making our way to the resort of Kaanapali, where we'll be staying at this beautiful hotel, the Sheraton Maui, which is just absolutely gorgeous. Right on the beach. It's going to be the wow. The next day, you have a day of leisure. You can hang at the beach. You can kick back and relax. There's an optional tour to do the road to Hana. It's a full day leisure or full day tour around 11.5 hours. And we'll be traveling that rugged coastline to Hana. Or you could just pull up a lawn chair and grab your towel and maybe do a little snorkeling right here off your hotel's beach. This is the beach from your hotel. Look at that sand. I can't wait. Less than 1 week. Another day in paradise in Maui to do whatever you want. So the last day of the trip, you have nothing planned other than that evening we're going to get together for a wonderful Hawaiian-style luau to bring all of this tradition together. So, just a quick recap, you're going to have that wonderful tour of Pearl Harbor, Punch Bowl, USS Arizona, have an opportunity to visit the Iolani Palace. You're visiting 3 nights on Maui, 3 nights on Kona, 3 nights at Big Island, lots of touring in between, famous luau, some free time to kind of kick back and relax. It's a wonderful experience. You can find this on the OSHA program's website. The Hawaii Island Tour, land, air, taxes, and fees out of Pittsburgh is coming in at $59.99. That includes all of your interflights. That has breakfast daily, a few dinners included. The double rate is $59.99 after a $200 booking incentive. But you need to book before August 9th. I've sold more Hawaii in the last 2 or 3 years than I have in my first 13 years. It is absolutely kind of falling off the shelves for us. If people are looking to sometimes stay a little closer to home without having the passport, and this is kind of that exact destination that you can do it with. So I'm going to pause here just for a moment to see if there's any questions coming through the chat box. So we're going to continue on to a tour that is near and dear to my heart, which is our Spotlight on Tuscany. It's traveling in March. Let's see if this works. There we go. It's traveling March 19th through the 27th. The reason I say that, it was my very first tour with Collette, and I absolutely love. Not much has changed. We tweaked, made it a little better, but I mean, the guts of it has been the same. The hotels have, got a little bit more modernized because of the amount of business that has been in a small little resort town called Montecatini Terme. Great time of year to go, getting away from the crowds, seeing all that lush vegetation. This tour is all about Tuscany. Now, keep in mind, when you look at the itinerary, you could see you could go in early to Rome. If you want a little extra touring, go into Rome early. Meet the group up in Montecatini after your 2 nights or 3 night stay in Rome. The Montecatini, the base tour, 7 nights in the same hotel. This is what we call that hub and spoke, that spotlight tour. At the end of the tour, you can make it your own. You can go into Bologna, post-tour, the food mecca of the world. It's absolutely amazing. Doing that little food tour around Bologna is something you'll never forget. It's a level 3, so you got to be able to move up and down cobblestones and hillsides and things. You don't got to run a marathon, but you definitely need to keep up with the group. Day number 1 is your overnight flight. You're going to fly into either Florence or Pisa if you're not doing the Rome extension. And your tour opens in Montecatini. It's nestled in the heart of the rolling hills of Tuscany. It's really famous for their kind of spa hot springs. This little town is surrounded by ancient walls. It's hosted many well-known Italians over the years. It is a retreat for Europeans alike because they come here for that, those hot springs. We're going to get together this evening for a wonderful dinner. Unlike most of the other tours, except France. France wine is included with all your dinners. But Italy, they'll put bottles of red, bottles of white of the region. They keep it coming, all night long until we have to cut you off if you're acting a fool. So don't act a fool. So, but no, this tour is amazing. The food, the wine, the culture, the heritage, the museums, all around. So we're going to kick our tour off with a wonderful welcome dinner. The next day, we're going to be making our way out to a guided tour of Lucca. It's one of Tuscany's best kept secrets. You have these Renaissance walls, the Romanesque churches, the medieval streets, flanked by these towers. It has this delightful square. It's just some of Lucca's charm. This city dates back to 180 BC when it was a Roman settlement. So we're going to have a wonderful locally guided tour. Keep in mind, we have those whisper headsets where the tour manager doesn't have to be on top of one another. They will just, ladies and gentlemen, Lucca was established in 188, so they can just go through those things with you without you having to be on top of one another. From there, we're then going to have some free time in Lucca before making our way to the Ponte di Diavolo, the Devil's Bridge. According to legend, the nickname comes from the perfect symmetrical arches of the bridge, and it's so perfect that the engineer must have had help from the devil to complete it as what the legend says. So it was built in the 11th century, and it's just a gorgeous little sighting. Kind of gives you an opportunity to think, wow, these things that, the Romans built back, decades, not decades, but centuries ago, are still standing to this day. We're going to be making our way to the Gothic line. This was built by Germans. It was one of the last lines of defense during World War II. In kind of the waning days of World War II, the German forces made preparations to defend northern Italy. Right along the Apennine Mountains, they created this formidable line of defense in an effort to hold back the Allied forces. The site of some of the hardest fighting of the Italian campaign were right here at the Gothic line. So you'll learn all about the importance of this region. We're going to make our way to a Tuscan winery and learn from experts why, these wines are so important. I have a basement full of wine that I've shipped home from Tuscany over the years. I love all the different varieties. Day number 4, we're going to explore Florence. We're going to tour the Academy Gallery to see the wonderful statue of David, standing 17 feet tall. It was created in 1500s. It was initially commissioned to be set atop the Duomo, which we will be touring, but the Duomo would not withstand that. The monument would withstand, the weather at the top of the Duomo. They didn't want it to get ruined. The Duomo here is one of the most amazing engineering marvels to keep this dome still standing today. This is called the Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore. It is the heartbeat of Florence. And anytime you get lost, just make your way to the Duomo. You'll have some time in Florence after a locally guided tour to maybe cross over the Merchants Bridge, which is the Ponte Vecchio. You have some time to go out and explore, maybe do a little retail therapy. The next day, it's your choice. You can stay in Montecatini and have free time. However, I highly recommend going to Siena. We give you this choice because Siena is quite a bit of walking, but it is a fantastic town. It's one of my favorite cities in all of Italy. It's full of art. It's Art Nouveau architecture. You have this beautiful academic town. You're going to learn all about this horse race that goes through the town every year that brings the community together called the Palio. I just think it has one of the most beautiful squares, Piazza del Campo, anywhere in all of Italy. From there, we're going to make our way back to Montecatini to have some free time. The next day, we're making our way out to Pisa and get that wonderful little photo of holding up the Tower of Pisa and learn all about the history of the Leaning Tower. You have a chance to tour the baptistry here as well, which is the largest in all of Italy. We're going to make our way out through the countryside for one of the most amazing meals. We're going to learn all about the Tuscan cuisine as we make our way into a home of an Italian at their local villa, have a little cooking demonstration, and learn how these ingredients come together to make a wonderful dining experience. And day number 7, complete day of leisure. You can do whatever you choose. You can rent a car, go drive around. You can hire a private driver. We offer a full day excursion. It's about 9 hours, and it would take you to the Italian Riviera called the Cinque Terre. Cinque in Italian is 5. These 5 little charming fishing villages that you will find all over social media, and we will be touring those by train from one to the next, and you have free time in each of them. The next morning, we're going to be making our way and going to learn about how cheese is made. This area of Italy is known for pecorino cheese. We're going to sample those cheese, have some delicious wine with those samples, and then make our way to this charming hilltop town, well known for all of their towers, because most of the cities only have one tower, but San Gimignano has many towers. And it's also world famous because it's said to have the #1 gelateria in all of Italy. Except there's 2 places that say they're the #1 place for gelato in all of Italy. Regardless of what you do and what you choose to do that afternoon during your free time, we're going to get together the last day of the tour to have a wonderful Tuscan feast to end this program and to bid farewell to a wonderful 9-day, 7-night tour. So keep in mind, This tour offers a pre-tour extension to Rome where you can go into Rome early and have a comprehensive tour of Rome, getting a chance to see the Colosseum, heading in to this little trendy area of Rome where it's called the Chesta area, where the just kind of like the authentic Rome, having a little food tour around that area. Or you can go to Bologna Post, or you can do both. So you can make this tour whenever you want. So that Bologna tour, we have walking food tour around the city. Regardless, we've covered so much. This tour is available on the OLLI's website. Man, this is making me hungry. I'm going over lunch over here. It's on the OLLI's website. The price of this trip is land, air, taxes, fees, transfers from Morgantown to the Pittsburgh airport, the airport to hotel transfers. The base tour is $29.99. Land, air, taxes, and fees. The following year, it's $39.99. So prices are going up. If you've ever dreamt of traveling, then now is the time. Finally, all these prices are, our contracts before COVID were set in stone for around 24 months. And now that we had to go out and recontract all the hotels, the motor coach companies, the restaurants under our new contracts, everything is increasing. So, get out there and travel now while you can. So I'm going to pause it here for any questions on Tuscany. The last of our tours, even though we have one more, it's not released yet. So the last that we're presenting on today is our tour in August of 2025. It is our Alaskan Discovery Land and Cruise. If you've always wanted to see Alaska, now is your time. We're doing on a very prestigious Holland America line, which has a smaller ship. That smaller ship enables us to kind of cruise along the coastline through the Inside Passage southbound. So we're going to traverse the amazing Pacific coast by both land and sea on one of Holland America Cruise Line's lovely ships on a breathtaking journey that will take you from Alaska to Vancouver. The reason I mentioned Vancouver is because you need a passport. Because we're disembarking in Canada and flying home, you need a passport. This tour is a level 1. Means it's not a lot of walking. It's very leisurely in pace. Day number 1 is your flight. It's going to take you the better part of a day to get up into Fairbanks. So just something to keep in mind. You're going to have to, a day of travel. The next morning, we are going to wake up and we're going to have a little bit of a tour around Fairbanks. Fairbanks is the largest city in the interior region of Alaska. It was founded as a temporary trading post in the 1900s and was converted into a permanent settlement after gold was discovered. Go figure. We are going to take a little tour out. Day number 2, we're going to go on the Stern Wheeler. This historic steamboat had traditions dating back into the late 1800s, and we're going to cruise along the river and take in the majestic scenery along the way. This really gives you an opportunity to absorb the culture and the heritage of the Alaskans and kind of see what life is like along the coastlines. We're then going to set off by motor coach towards Denali National Park. And hopefully on a clear day, you may even catch a glimpse of the incredible Denali, North America's tallest mountain. The name of the mountain translates to the High One in the Athabascan tribe. It towers over 20,000 feet above sea level. And the area is known to be the best area to spot grizzly bears anywhere in North America. So get your cameras ready. After you arrive, you're going to be staying at this beautiful rustic hotel with mountainscapes in the background, surrounded by this beautiful greenery. And once again, hope that you get that opportunity to see Mount Denali or Mount McKinley. We're going to do a wonderful dinner show. It's a dinner theater performance about the first mountaineers to traverse to Mount Denali. So something kind of tells you the brave men who completed the summit of Denali, followed by a dinner. Then we're going to take a full tundra tour in Mount Denali or in Denali National Park. This is about an 8-hour tour. Most of the time, tour companies will do 3-4 hours. We are doing the better part of a day so that you have an opportunity to hopefully see some of that beautiful wildlife. And once again, that wildlife, the Alaska's big five are considered to be the bear, the moose, the caribou, the wolves, and the Dall sheep. So hopefully you get a chance to see those in Mountain Oak. And our hotels are absolutely gorgeous here. We always list all our properties, so please go online, check out the properties. We're going to take the Denali train. This Denali train will take us from Denali to Talkeetna. Talkeetna has a population of about 1,000 people. Funny story, the town's mayor it was a cat at one point in time named Stubbs. You'll learn about the history of Stubbs. But we're taking this luxury train ride with these beautiful 180 domes to go see that, beautiful scenery around. We're staying at Talkeetna Alaskan Lodge, right in the heart of the wilderness here. From there, we're going to be making our way down to Anchorage, Alaska's largest city. Anchorage this time of year enjoys about 19 and a half hours of daylight. So you will have quite a bit of daylight. So shut those blinds on your cruise ship and your hotels if you're looking to get some sleep. We're going to continue with a wonderful scenic drive along Alaska's coastal range. We're going to drive along the Tungarian Arm, with this deep glacial fjord that connects the Gulf of Alaska to the Alaskan Wildlife Conservation Center. So just look at that majestic beauty. You maybe even see some Arctic wolves, some porcupines, some moose, 200 acres of rehabilitation here for the Wildlife Center. From there, we're making our way to Whittier. Whittier is kind of this small port town, but it's the Alaskan Marine Highway. This is kind of where everyone boards their cruise ships for Alaska. So in Whittier, you're going to board your ship for the next 7 nights along Holland America's fabulous floating resort. This cruise ship has a lot to offer: modern dining, comfortable lounges, tons of different dining options, bars. It is just a dream. There's a casino on board. Don't risk it all. Please don't. There's other trips to buy. We're going to cruise, and this is a smaller ship, so we can get in these little nooks and crannies, such as Hubbard Glacier on day number 6, one of Alaska's advancing glaciers. This is a tidewater glacier, which is known for the calving of large chunks of ice with that thunderous cracks that you may see on some TV shows from time to time. So get your canvas ready. This is what it looks like in the summertime. Light jackets up on top, maybe some scarves to keep yourself warm. You head back into the ship. You're not feel like you're completely undressing. This is a spectacular national park. This is called Glacier Bay. And this is also home to Tidewater Glacier, snow-capped mountain ranges, fjords, just beautiful coastlines along Glacier Bay. And we're going to be able to get into the nooks and crannies with some commentary. Keep in mind, you're going to have a tour manager with you every step of the way just to make sure everything goes perfect. Day number 8, our first port of call will be Skagway. Here you'll relive Alaska's old gold rush days. If you're interested, you kind of learn a little about the gold in the Yukon can still be heard, all these stories being told. The famous Chillicothe Trail, popular hiking trail. There is an optional tour while you're here in Skagway, so you can either have some free time to head into the little town and learn all about, that gold mining days back in the Klondike of the 1800s, or you can take an excursion. This is the Skagway Tour and Summit Overlook, and get to know the town's historical wonders and the beautiful sights from above. The next day, we're going to be making our way to Juneau, which is Alaska's capital. And despite being the capital, this is a very remote city, as it can only be reached by boat or seaplane. It's known for its mining and fishing. And Alaska's Juneau gold mine was the largest in the world from 1916 to 1944. The city's backyard is 1,500 miles of glacial fields that are bordering Canada. You're going to have some free time in Juneau. There's a couple excursions in Juneau. One of the excursions is a jet boat whale watching tour, which would be peak season for whale watching. You can do a helicopter ride and land on a glacier. You can do a dog sled, helicopter ride and land, and then do dog sledding. So you can make this day what you want. I've done dog sledding in Finland. It is exhilarating. I absolutely loved it. Regardless of what you choose, we're going to be making our way on to Ketchikan, Alaska's most southern southeastern city. It's located right on the coastline. It's the 12th largest island in the U.S., and it's also known as the salmon capital of the world and the city of totems because it's home to the world's largest collection of totem poles. So you'll have some free time here and catch a can. You may even buy a salmon and send it home, or your free time to go do some fishing while you're here. The next day, it's the day of leisure. This is, I think, what really makes Holland America. Because of the size of the ship, we are now traveling through the inside passage right along the coastline in that beautiful scenery along the way, all the tiny little Pacific Coast villages and small little towns. And we're going to make our way into Vancouver. This morning, we'll disembark the ship, head to the airport, and be making our way home. So, we've covered a lot in all these tours. You can find this tour on the webpage for OLLI's tour page. I also put it in the chat box. This tour is land, air, taxes, fees, transfers, everything. For an inside cabin, it's $63.99 per person. An ocean view is $69.99. And a veranda is $78.99. So there are some options. Cabins are based upon availability, and we're holding this space until February 6th. But if you are interested, get your deposits in sooner or later. If you ever see on these pages that we're holding space to a certain time frame, please get your deposits in ASAP because you can cancel up until that time frame and get all of your money back, including your insurance. If you cancel after that time frame, you would get everything back unless you're insured. The last trip we're covering is just really quick, just mentioning more so than covering. We're going to be talking about Imperial Cities. It's coming soon. It'll be October of 2025. I love this tour. I love it because of the pacing. 3 nights Prague, 3 nights Vienna, 3 nights Budapest. Lots of wows. So stay tuned for this tour. Regardless of what you do, as long as you buy the air inclusive package with Collette, we're going to pick you up and take you to the airport, pick you up and bring you home. It is a single hotel pickup, and we have one pickup scheduled from Morgantown, one pickup scheduled for Charleston. Keep in mind, the Iceland tour, we're going to be taking you to Washington Dulles to catch that nonstop Washington Dulles Iceland Air flight. You can personalize your adventure. Go in early, stay later, optional pre-tour extensions, optional post-tour extensions. You can upgrade to business class, premium economy. So when you're registering for these tours, please, let Jacina know, let Collette know what your interests are, and we can make it happen for you. We have the best insurance in the industry. I didn't put, it goes up to, the Alaska insurance is $5.99, I believe. So basically, this should say $349 all the way to $5.99. It's not based on age. It's not based on pre-existing conditions. It's one flat rate based on the tour itself, and it's canceled for any reason up till the day prior to departure, and you get a full cash refund back, less the cost of the insurance. So cancel for any reason at any time up until the day prior to departure, and you get a full cash refund back, less the cost of the insurance. It also covers you while you're on tour. Trip interruptions, travel delays, illness, accident, theft, emergency evacuation, lost luggage. It's all encompassing. It protects you before the trip and it protects you while you're on the trip. And if you deposit with your insurance, like I mentioned, the insurance is fully refundable up until our seat reduction date. So you can guarantee your space, lock in your rate, get that good air schedules, because you're getting in early, and you still have some flexibility. Our way of saying thank you is our passport club. If you've traveled with Collette, the more you travel, the more you save. Basically, if you've done a trip and your next tour departs within 12 months, you get a 5% savings off of what your previous tour cost was based on the land value. If that last tour was within 24 24 months, you save an additional 3%. It's our way of saying thank you. And if you've completed 3 or more trips, there's added benefits of another $100 off if you buy some ancillary items, like a pre-tour or post-tour. Keep in mind, out of the tours we discussed today, the only tour that a driver's license would be valid would be your Hawaiian Adventure. All the other tours are going to require your passport. When you are signing up for these trips, please keep in mind you need to sign up with your legal passport name or your legal identification for Hawaii that you're traveling. First name, middle initial, apostrophes, junior, senior, second, thirds. We need to see it exactly that appears on your passport, or the airlines will cancel your ticket. And keep in mind, your passport needs to be valid 8 months beyond your return home date. So Collette will keep you abreast of that. Once again, go in early, stay later, pre-nights, post-nights, pre-tour extensions, post-tour extensions. There's a lot that we can offer for you. Go to those group web pages and, go to the different tours and check them out, So that being said, I am going to just kind of recap this real quick. When's the best time to travel? People always ask me, Matt, when's the best time to do this? When's the best time to do that? What's the weather like? What's the crowds like? And I tell everyone, the best time to travel is while you can, because you never are promised tomorrow. Do the things while you can, or your kids will. Your money. Listen to my friends.
Hey kids, it's us again. Look who's joined us. Your aunt and uncle. They've decided to spend your inheritance one cup at a time here at Bar Ponte Vecchio. You gotta love it. And look, Aaron came up with a wonderful idea. Why waste our money just on coffee when we can have cappuccino? Love ya. Ciao. Ciao.
Well, thank you very much, Jacina. Thank you for having me once again. I will pause here again for any questions. Feel free to unmute yourself. Now's the time to travel. We were cooped up for so long, people are making up for it.
Thank you. Are there any questions from anybody that Matthew didn't answer already? Guess not. Okay. Well, we have I have links for brochures for all of the trips except the Imperial Cities one. I know that one's still being organized, but all of the others I have flyers and brochures for. And you can book directly with Collette, or you can contact me and I'll help you do it online. So thank you.
Thank you, Jacina. Have a
Thanks,
good day,
Matthew.
everyone. And appreciate your flexibility over here.
Oh, of course. You have a safe trip next week. And everybody have a great day. I'll see y'all later.
All right,
Bye-bye.
take care. Thank you.